Every morning, millions of people wake up, get in their own car, use their own gas, carry their own insurance, and go make someone else's platform worth billions. And they call it a side hustle, but I call it the most expensive business mistake in America right now. Here is what I know after 38 years of building and running a real operation. The most dangerous number in business is the one you think you have, but have not actually calculated. Gig workers see the gross pay. Uber sends the weekly summary. DoorDash shows the total deliveries. It looks decent and it looks like progress, but that number has not been reduced by a single real expense. The average gig worker drives 30,000 miles a year for the platforms. That is $16,500 in vehicle depreciation and operating costs by IRS standards alone. That's before you pay for gas, the extra premiums your insurance requires, the self-employment tax nobody mentions at sign up, and before you factor in that up to 60%, the platform kept before you ever saw your cut. When they run the real math, a lot of gig workers find out they are netting somewhere between $8 and $12 an hour for a job where they own all the risk and the platform owns all the upside. That is not a hustle. That's getting hustled. So today I want to talk about who is paying it and what it is actually costing them. Point 1. The math is not mathing. Most gig workers track income, but very few track the full cost of generating that income. And that gap is exactly where the platform gets over. When you drive for Uber, you are not splitting the fare with the platform. You are covering the entire cost of the operation and then splitting what is left. The car is yours. The maintenance is yours. The fuel is yours. The insurance is yours. The parking tickets are yours. And the wear on your body from 10-hour shifts is yours. Uber's contribution to that transaction is an app and a customer. That's it. I'm not mad at Uber for building that model. That is smart business. I am frustrated that more people have not looked at that model and realized they are on the wrong side of it. Point 2. You already run a business. You just have one customer who sets the price. Think about what a gig worker actually does every single day. They manage their own schedule, handle customer interactions in real time under pressure, manage the quality of their service because their rating determines their income, track their earnings, manage their vehicle as a business asset, and file a Schedule C at tax time, whether they know what that means or not. That's operations management, that's customer service, that's asset management, and that is financial tracking. Those are the exact skills that run a real business. The only difference between what they are doing now and what a business owner does is that a business owner decides who their customer is and what that customer pays. Right now, the platform makes both of those decisions, and they make them in the platform's favor every single time. Point 3. Every skill that someone develops while using the app transfers into something they own completely. Skills do not belong to the job. They belong to the person who builds the skills. The discipline required to get up at 5 a.m. and run 12 hours of rides does not live inside the Uber app. It lives inside the person doing it. Whatever business that person decides to build next, they bring all of it. The work ethic, the customer handling, the time management, the hustle, and the ability to operate under pressure without someone standing over them. Those skills are worth far more than $10 an hour. The app just convinced them otherwise. Point 4. The difference between a gig and a business is ownership. One builds equity and one builds mileage. Every mile driven for a platform is a mile of depreciation on an asset that belongs to the driver, and a mile of value added to a platform that does not. The car loses value, the platform gains it. At the end of 5 years, the driver has a high mileage vehicle that's ready for the junkyard and a work history that does not appear on any business credit report. The platform has preferred stock that went up in value. A business builds something that belongs to the owner, something that grows, that can be sold, passed down, or scaled. A gig builds someone else's something. There is a place for gig work in the short term. As a permanent career, it is one of the most costly decisions a person can make. Now you know the insight. The question is what you do with it. Most people hear this and do nothing, not because they do not agree, but because they do not have a system for what comes next. They know the gig is not the destination. They just don't know what the destination is or how to get there. That is exactly what Capture Cash Flow is built for, not to tell you which business to start, but to give you the framework to figure that out for yourself and build it the right way from day one. The ebook is $17.99 at capturecashflow.com. It is the framework that took 38 years to build. That is where you start. Make, manage, and multiply more money.